we're talking about graphing inequalities. This is lesson 78. Welcome. When we talk about inequalities, we're pretty familiar with a couple of these different symbols. We've talked about greater than, less than, and of course equal to. And you've used these symbols a number of times in different types of inequalities. Yeah, that's what they're called. Not just comparisons, but inequalities. And when it comes to understanding these, usually when we talk about number lines, we have focused on the equals. Right? So if a number is equal to, let's say x is equal to 1, I would put a nice beautiful dot right there at 1. Nice filled in circle. Today we want to talk about, well, what happens if you have one of these symbols here? All right? And we got a couple new ones. This is greater than and equal, and less than and equal. Right? That's what that little line underneath is. It's not a typo. It's not just a squiggly mark that I forgot to erase. It is important. So greater than, less than, greater than and equal to, or greater than and or less than and equal to. So we have these ideas. All right. Now, depending on the symbol that you have, depends on what kind of dot you actually put in your spot. So, for example, if I have one of these symbols where it's just less than, right? So if I would say x is less than 1, right? I'm going to put a dot at 1. But in this case, I'm going to leave it an open circle. And I leave it an open circle because 1 is not included. It's less than 1. It's not equal to 1, but it's less than 1. But 1 still gives me a starting point. And from here then, to show numbers that are less than 1, I actually just draw an arrow continuing down my number line with an arrow head at the end to show that it goes on forever. Pretty simple, right? Okay, well, what happens if I put this little line in here? Make it x is less than or equal to 1. All right, if it's equal to 1, then we have to have a solid dot. But then, in essence, our line continues in that fashion. All right. Let's go on to a sample problem. Okay, graph x is less than and equal to 3. All right, so we've got to find the number we're looking for. We've identified the 3. We're looking at our symbol, right? Less than or equal to. So less than or equal to says solid dot. And because our symbol is going that way, it's less than, x has to be less than that. Right? We would say, okay, we're going this way because that would be less. Looks very, very similar to what I just showed you. All right, let's do another one then. Okay, this one says x is greater than -3. All right, so we start here, identify our -3. Okay, found -3 on my number line. Now we're going greater, x is greater than. Okay, x is greater than, but it's not equal to -3, so I'm going to put an open circle. And now it's greater than, and our arrow is going this way now. And it looks like that. And so some people start to put this picture together, right? If the x is on the left of it, we would notice that our final arrow points the same way as the symbol. But that's only if the x is on the left side, right? What would happen if x is on this side? If it said 5 is less than or equal to x. Setting this problem up is really just about understanding what we're trying to solve for. We're trying to solve for x. And so since we're trying to solve for x, we need to understand that this phrase right here is really saying this. Right? 5 is less than x, which means that x is greater than 5, right? The opposites. And so when we have it in this form, our symbol points the way the arrow needs to flow. All right, it's time for you to do one. All right, here is your sample problem. Go ahead and graph this inequality. That's it for lesson 78.